That's the birth of moral relativism, modern moral. It was to say, are we so much better that we should import our culture onto other people? And the answer from the philosophers traditionally is no, but we need to educate them. And there's a difference there. It's not to say you have to do it our way. It is to say this is what you're doing to a human being. Are you aware of that? This is what you're doing to people. In other words, if what we're saying is not complete bunk, then natural law will kick in. You know? And like I said before, be careful that some of these are not that different. We're taking the very extreme differences. You know, we're not taking, like, the vast majority of our cultures overlap. Human culture, you can say the phrase, human culture. There is such thing, and it exists. Those smaller realities can be educated, and, you know, they have to be educated. You know, but there must be a via media between doing nothing and conquering them and just putting them all to the sword if they don't listen. Like, there's got to be somewhere in the middle there we can do this. You know, and maybe that needs to be worked out with anthropologists and humanists on staff and sociologists on staff to be able to bring it. But to say it's okay because it was there before I found it, that doesn't work with dishes. That doesn't work with garbage stacking in roommates. You know, whoever, what is it, you play garbage Jenga? The last person when it falls over has to clean it up, you know? It doesn't work with people, you know? So there has to be a middle road there of saying, wait, what's okay, what's not okay? The danger is that sometimes we don't want any middle road. We just say, no, hands off. Now, what about things like, do we have a burden? No. Should we accept everything in our culture as we have it, as morally correct?
As morally correct?
Okay, and I'm not, accepting the last 30 morally bankrupt years in our culture. Excise the last, let's say 60. Back in the 90s, Wally Beaver, you know, back that time, you know? Let's go to that time if you want. Anyone?
Sorry, you have to go way further back.
Because the thing is there were things that were morally bankrupt at the time. There was an old phrase. What a man does with his hands and what a woman does with her tongue between a man and a wife. What you're saying is he can hit her. That's what you're saying. Because of what she said. That's what that means. That's not okay. That's not an acceptable reality. So we always have to kind of really, it's a healthy way to constantly look at ourselves and make sure we're measuring ourselves to our own external measuring stick. Again, that measuring stick has to be external. You know, otherwise, then it's just back to moral relativism. It's just our relativism, you know? There has to be that constant looking and searching, you know? What a beautiful thing man is that we search, in our ancient philosophers said we have to keep looking for the truth. By the way, part of my answer to you about when it happened, I would suspect right around when right around Descartes and after. And my argument, where I come from, is when we began to remove external, physical things as reliable, then I think we moved everything external. Philosophy became based on the eye. And it took time, but it began to go further and further. Yeah, I think, therefore I am. The reason he said that, by the way, was simple. He was just trying to point out, your eyes can be tricked, right? This is, you're blurry, now you're clear. There you go. Everything can be tricked, all your senses. So how do you know you exist? If everything can be tricked, well, I can think. Fine, but then what you just did is shift all of creation on yourself. What? No, not okay. So, you know, I would say that was the birth of that reality. And it's about right for time-wise, too. If you look at the time frame of modern relativism, it's right around that time it started what I want to do. What's that?
No, I don't know. I don't know how it can ever. You know, how do you course correct? How do you? Because again, I keep running back. I keep coming back to this thought of, well, in a global society, I think it was easier when we were not, in contact with all the cultures as the way we are now, and we could have our way of life, and they had their way of life, and you didn't even know their way of life existed. Right, and I mean, and you found that people in isolation follow, it's just like there's a natural law. People whose cultures develop similar ideas and ways of thinking and law and government, right? Like, and yet once we started kind of getting to know each other, then it was all like, well, my way's better than your way, and then it part of what drives that is this idea of, well, I believe my way is right. I believe my way is the absolute right, and so my job in educating you is making sure that I am bombarding you with my way of thinking, which is, I think, part of the reasons why most of the world hates the United States, because we are completely feeding this American way of life, right? And other countries say, whoa, hey, we were good the way we were, thank you, keep that over there, okay? And I just feel like there's the issue we have, again, because we're so connected, is that we keep constantly running into this question of, well, this is the United States way, and this is how it is in Bahrain. Why should Bahrain have to live the way Americans live?
But I think that's what the whole conversation was about, where there's an external, beyond culture, beyond anything else, truth, reality, like where it's just like, for example, that it would be a truth. Murder is wrong. Punto. Final. That's it. Yeah. If that is true, then that's just true, and that's it. And the unnecessary mutilation of another human is wrong. That's true. So that there. If these truths existed, and I mean, like the UN tries to do that with in a sense with its human rights, coming up with the list of what is a human rights violation and what isn't, but that in and of itself is driven by a political agenda.
Yeah, it's been manipulated.
So,
I mean, I get it. I'm with you.
I think you're saying, how do we fix it? I would say my answer would be the same way it got broken, one by one. I think that's a by far more effective way. I think Mother Teresa, for an insanely effective example. I mean, that little old lady just the whole world stopped cold and said, what happened when she died? Everybody paused radically. And her famous thing was just do small things gently, one by one. Do what you can. And over time, look, it worked. I mean, it's unarguable that it worked. It's arguable to say, well, it would work for all of us. Right, but there's a whole lot more than one Mother Teresa around the table, so at least we have more of a chance of getting it done. But I suspect that's the way it got broken. It didn't get broken with groups. People didn't jump into the puddles. They knew they weren't supposed to. It's just that the air was wet enough until we all got soaked. So one, I would say, keep checking in with that fire, that external, making sure. And then making sure I do it, and I teach the one or two people that I want to learn from me, not that I impose on them. And I do think that's how you fix something. It's the same way the way you got broken. I think one by one, backward. Or if you will, forward. C.S. Lewis, sometimes the only way forward is to turn around. Right? So sometimes the best way forward is to turn around. Turn around and go forward and say, each person just make sure to gently and respectfully and lovingly, but clearly hold forth on the truth. And when it's questioned, just hold on to it. Do you realize how strong it is if one person just doesn't say, I'm okay with it too? Not if they say nothing. I mean, even if they say nothing. Even if they say nothing, that's still a huge difference. Let alone if they say, no, this is wrong. But even if they just say nothing, they've started moving it in a certain direction. Or at least put the brakes down. And then it starts moving forward. But I would say it's much more, it's also, by the way, I think much more effective to do so. Because I think to do it on a bigger level, people will see it coming and fight it. I would say just one by one and say, we're going to do this way. I think that's a much more effective way. I don't know if there's another way, but I think that was a very effective way of getting it done. Check in with the fire regularly, because it's easy to trip. All of us get wet. Not one person on this planet doesn't get wet. And then just make sure I stay dry. And then when someone comes near to me, why? Because it will attract people. People are inherently attracted to the good. And so they'll move closer and then they'll learn. And then they'll move closer and they'll learn. I mean, again, that's actually straight out of the Mother Teresa playbook. You know, they'll see that Christ in you, that warmth in you, and that will attract others to Christ. That's literally like a bad quoting, paraphrasing of her. You know, she had such a nice way of speaking. There's another song. When You Call Me Big Papa. It was his anniversary, Tupac's anniversary yesterday of death. I raised a toast to him in an interreligious dialogue. It was great. It was like a toast to, well, to Big Pop. I was like, a toast to Christopher Wallace. May his murderers be found, taken too young. And of course, none of these people knew who these were. They're like, of course, Father. I was like, who is that? And I was like, Biggie Smalls, he was a rapper. And they just, I remember thinking either it was going to work great or it's going to go real bad. Yeah. I was like, it's either going to go really great and loosen everybody up, or it's going to go really, it went well. So it loosened everybody up and we jumped around. But everybody relaxed. It's in March at some point, it's his anniversary. It's like, may his murderers be found. A modern philosopher taken too early. And they were like, oh, who's that? If we get, listen, if we can get the church, are you kidding? That's it, I'm done, I'm right. My big argument, the church has to change with the world. No, the world has to change with the church. Well, then you'll get left behind. Try it. Oh, really? Yeah, you and Caesar and Napoleon and Hitler. Go ahead, line up. I want Caesar, I'll wait here. Go ahead, give it a shot. So we'll always be left behind.
No, but I mean, we just get the people of the church.
Right. Oh, well, listen,
on the same page.
No. You sweep stairs from the top. If we could just start with the hierarchy and the clergy. You sweep stairs from the top. Let's start from there. And I have a feeling it'll be a lot. No, St. John Chrysostom said that, you know? You sweep stairs from the top. Let's start from there. And then I'll be like, all right, let's go. So that's what I mean by it's easier to do it on an individual basis because I think it's much more effective. I can't control anybody else above or below me. Below me, laugh at me. That or burn stuff down.
Well,
that's also always really super effective. Just let's go light some fires, guys. We got this.
Yeah.
I don't mean like Holy Spirit. I mean like.
we're still recording.
Yeah.
Edit that part out. That's right. Anybody who sees this that's important knows that about me anyway.
I'm gonna edit that a little more, just in case Kristen starts a fire.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, that brings people together. That's why they try to St. Patrick's. Well, hold on. That's not what I meant. You know, St. Patrick's, they try, you know, they built the walls really high. People try, you know, burning the church.
Yeah.
Isn't that the bad guy from a couple of new movies? Like, drive the world into insanity so that it makes everybody a better person? That movie Constantine. The angel does that, right? I'm going to make the world suffer so that you all be better. Whoa! It's next level crazy. That's actually impressively crazy.
Oh my God. Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
That was the
angel. The angel at
I
the
remember
end
Angel Gates.
was like, I'm going to do this so that then you can worship God well. You'll be worth it. And I'm like, whoa. Okay. Wow. I'm not even angry. I'm like impressed.
Right. I'm gonna let
I will let you suffer so bad that you learn.
That you will clamor for God.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
All right.
That's an idea.
That's one approach.
Do you think you could try that in a courthouse? No, I was only being a bad person because I wanted them to appreciate life more. Just try that, you know.
I would not be surprised.
What's that movie? That movie, Fight Club. That's what Tyler Durden would say he would do to people. He called it human sacrifice. He would threaten someone's life just to make them more appreciative of their own life. Shall we have a toast?
Yeah, sure.
Toast to knowing the path and then walking it. There you go. You're here. At least try it. I like it. Bismarcky. Another prophet of our times.
Yes.
So he wore a diaper, and then it was like, what are you doing?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He came out for one of the shows wearing a diaper.
Yeah, he lost me.
Only, in parentheses, a diaper.